Welcome back. You are still watching Morning Live. Now, the winter sports season is just around the corner, and as the excitement heightens for both parents as well as the children for the upcoming season, there's also the slight anxiety of something going wrong, particularly when you look at injuries. Now, to help us deal with such anxieties, we've roped in Ruan Vermaak, who is the communications manager out at CrisisOnCall. A very good morning to you, Ruan. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's a very big pleasure to be here.
Now, Ruan, you seem like a very nice person, but obviously whenever you come into the picture, it means something has gone wrong. So when we look at the high-impact sporting codes we have in schools, such as rugby, your netball, your hockey, and we see concussions becoming more of a frequent occurrence. Are you finding that this is the case as well as on your end?
Definitely. Look, we work with service providers nationally over South Africa, and 50%, more than 50% of your sports injuries is critical. So this can be anything from a limb injury to a concussion, as you just mentioned, internal bleeding due to specific areas. It could be a high impact of a hockey ball, it could be a tackle, it could be a slip and fell, impact of a scrum collapsing, spinal injuries. And this is all stuff that can be a very big problem, and if it's not treated right, it can be a big problem in the future.
And perhaps I'll just go a little bit deeper in terms of those concussions. What are you finding are some of those long-term effects of a constant concussion to someone that just has a concussion in this game, 3 days later they have another concussion? What are you finding those long-term effects are?
Back in the day, obviously, there was, we all played through concussion. We didn't know that concussion, you had concussion, bumped your head, next week you played again. But these days, the sports are more professional at a younger age, which means that if you don't treat this right, at least rest the player for 3 to 4 weeks after the concussions. Anyways, the box smart rules and regulations at the very moment. If you don't do that, it can basically lead to long-term injuries such as continuous headaches or continuous spinal injuries or whatever. So it can have a long-term effect on your body.
Indeed. And something that we always love to say in South Africa is we are all equal. But when it comes from an economical point of view, we're certainly not all equal. What advice would you then have for those that don't always have that emergency on hand? Because we see different resources being available at different levels of the economy for certain classes.
Yeah, so there's obviously the private sector in South Africa, and there's the governmental sector in South Africa when it comes to emergency medical services. Via the CrisisOnCall armband, you have access to a system that speaks on your behalf when you're not able to. Let's take an example. When you're involved in let's say an accident or a high impact rugby injury or soccer injury, whatever the sport is that you like or participate in, it is most of the times the coaches don't have the files with them with all the information. I don't ever saw a coach walking around with a file underneath his arm next to the field. And this is where the armband can speak on your behalf, give the correct information through, get the patient to the right medical facility, make sure they are obviously, transported and stabilized and everything when it matters.
So obviously when I buy a new car, I'll take it in, I'll have it insured just to prepare for those unforeseen circumstances. What can parents and then schools do just to almost increase that injury preparedness on site?
It's most definitely, I would recommend everyone to have a look at the CrisisOnCall website, because this can give you peace of mind, especially when you are not able to go with tour with your children. Not all the parents are in a fortunate position to join their children with tour. We've got a fantastic product that we called Passenger Met, which is one of our products that is included in your CrisisOnCall package. And this basically helps you when you travel by bus to a specific location. When you're a member, you will be stabilized in a private medical facility for the best medical treatment possible.
And from your point of view, coming from someone on crisis at CrisisOnCall, what would you still like to see change in terms of just the safety in school sports?
Yeah, look, I would obviously, I would like to to see the CrisisOnCall armband on each and every wrist of every player. Hence, it is soccer, cricket, rugby, hockey, netball, any sport, because obviously this can lead to more protectiveness. It can actually lead to complete peace of mind for not just the parents, but also the coaches, the players itself. And you'll have something that can speak on your behalf when you're not able to. A lot of big rugby hits or sporting hits, tackles and stuff, there's a lot of times where rugby players are unconscious for a little while. And this is due to the impact. So it is becoming more professional at a younger age. So and the competition is bigger than it was in the past.
And I mean, we've seen some youngsters losing their lives over something which probably we could have attended to much quicker had those measures been in place. If you don't mind me asking, Ruan, what are those cost implications looking like?
Yeah, so to join CrisisOnCall, the packages start at 220 Rand per month per family, which is not that expensive, and that could be a family of 4 people. All the costs are also available on our website, so you're welcome to join visit the CrisisOnCall website, which is just crisisonCall.co.za. You can Google CrisisOnCall, and all the information is there. There's a lot of true stories, testimonials that you can go read through, that can give you access to to see what happened and how we saved a lot of lives. Last year, if I can quickly leave you guys with a good example, or testimony. Last year we had an incident of a rugby player that actually broke his femur bone through a tackle, which is one of the biggest bones in your body and the strongest bones. There's a lot of blood vessels around this bone, so it has to be treated very carefully and with high professional medical attention. This specific patient was very far from home. They didn't have a medical aid, and they were transported via the CrisisOnCall system, flown via helicopter, stabilized and sorted out. Today he's practicing again and enjoying his sport.
That is a lovely story. Thank you so much for that, Ruan. Thank you for joining us this morning. Ruan Vermaak from CrisisOnCall, just speaking in terms of just looking ahead into the winter sports season that gets underway shortly for a lot of schools around the country, and of course the upcoming school holidays as well, and just those safety measures that can be put into place. That's where we'll leave it for now. Let's take you through to a quick ad break. Morning Live back with you shortly.